Welcome to the What's the Damage podcast with your host, Leo Van Dammage.
And we're live. What's up? This is Leo Van Dammage here today, episode 2 of What's the Damage podcast, and I'm with Sacha Allari.
Hey,
how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Sacha's from Zedos Gang podcast, and you'll also see him on Friends Talk Film.
That's right.
Just talking the shit with me sometimes when I'm on there and with Ken and Akbala, and also you got your own production company. What's it called?
Sacha Productions.
Sacha Productions, good stuff, man. So yeah, thanks for taking the time. I know you're really busy. You got loads of shit. You're about to go to work soon in a little bit, so probably catch a movie or whatever. So yeah, you just give me a little bit of time. You sit down and shoot the shit for a little bit, man. So how's things? How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing sort of like movies at the moment, as in, so you've got like a little franchise going on, man. Talk about that.
The little guy. Yeah, so I direct short films in my spare time and stuff. I'd like to get into actual feature films, but you know, the shorts pretty easy to do. You've been in a few of them. In fact, you were an original little guy, right?
Yeah, I get my head punched off.
Yeah,
I'll put the link in the description, but I get my head punched off.
Yeah, you're in the original. You are in the original.
Okay, yeah, so go on.
Yeah, it was just really weird. Well, it was for a film competition. There was this thing called the 10-second film comp.
Oh, by the way, just for anybody who's listening, if it sounds like we have a fan next to our heads, it's because we have a fan next to our heads.
Yeah, because it's boiling.
Because it's fucking hot, man. It's really hot in here. It's this British weather, as if you just can't seem to agree with it. But yeah, go on. Yeah, so you started off. So
there was like this film competition where you had to make a film, like a short in like 10 seconds, and I'm looking at all the shorts there, and everyone's doing comedy, but it's like one camera short, and like, you know what I mean, like everyone's short was the same.
Yeah. And
I wanted to do something a bit more cinematic, and you had to use the term "what's in the bag." So it's like, okay. So, what's in the bag? I don't know. And then I had two ideas. One was which would become the little guy, which you know, if you watched the short film in the link below.
Yeah.
One was the little guy, and the other one was one called Mexican Standoff, which is basically a Mexican standoff.
I was
also starring you.
Yeah.
That's right.
With Matty, right?
That's right, with your friend Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, we were standing in the field, and we had toy guns holding up against each other.
Praying the police wouldn't
arrest us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, just on the side note of that, so a few years ago, we were in Chiswick.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And we filmed that thing for that guy Sedgemore.
Oh yeah. And then the police came.
The police turned up because we were like basically getting changed in the middle of the street, doing like a quick thing.
Yeah, and one guy had a bloody shirt. And
yeah, and
they were like, "Have you seen anyone like
suspicious?"
Like, and we were just like,
and there's me with like my pants down, just trying to get changed in the middle of fucking Power Road.
And they were like, "What are you doing here?" And we were like, "We're filming."
Hide the toy gun. Hide the toy guns.
Yeah, hide the toy guns. We don't want SWAT. Like,
Dude, that happened to me once, man.
That happened to us too. One time, not with toy guns, but we had my old friend James Feeney. We were filming a film with him, and Kenan from Friends Talk Film.
Yeah.
You know, Ken was like a mob boss kind of guy, and he was we had Feeney in the boot. And Ken was like
in the boot, as in like the trunk.
Yeah, inside the trunk of the car. And the thing was, James was not in the boot, but he was in the boot at one point. And
how have I never heard?
And
this
he was screaming. Apparently, he was screaming like or whatever. In one take, that someone called, going, "There's someone screaming. There's a guy who's been put in a boot." And then the other part of the film was shot with the camera
inside,
trunk,
right?
And you just had Ken like kicking around near the camera. No one was in there. No one was getting hurt. And Vinny was outside. And then the police came.
Oh.
While Ken's like kicking aside. And they're like, "What's going on?" And we're talking the full shit.
Really?
And they're like, yeah, we're filming a film. There's a camera in there. There's no one actually in there. You can check it out.
Yeah.
You know, they had no weapons because there was no weapons. It was quite literally Feeney was in the boot.
Yeah. Did they give you some sort of citation, or just told you like just?
I know the full story, but Ken knows the full story. He was there. I wasn't
have to find
there.
that out.
But I think they just let him off with a warning. That's not the first time. There was something that happened also on another short filmed on the underground as well.
That was the Monday one, right?
That was the Monday Gremlin one, yeah.
I was in that too.
Yeah.
I slapped my face, yeah. But yeah, you guys were doing some guerrilla filming on the underground.
Yeah.
And then you guys got told off because you're not supposed to do that shit. Apparently it's a big issue, I didn't know. But yeah, so when I was younger, a friend of mine, I'm not friends with anymore, the guy's a dick, but a friend of mine, he had a pellet gun.
Oh yeah.
And it was a Desert Eagle pellet gun. Like it looked legit. Like this thing, you would think, oh fuck, you don't want to get shot with that. And if anybody was wielding it around. So anyway, we were in this like council estate where we were hanging out, and it wasn't a really bad area, but apparently it was a high crime area. And the police, we're fucking around with this pellet gun, drunk. I don't know, we were about 15, and we were drunk and drinking bottles of WKD Blue and stuff like that we picked up from the corner shop. And so I'm shooting my friend with this gun, and we're wielding this gun around. Next thing we know, these fucking armed police officers turn up, and they're like, get on the ground. My friend throws the gun, and they pick him up, and they put his arm behind his back, and he's like, ah, and they throw him on the ground, and we're all shitting ourselves, and they're like, oh, it's a toy gun, and we're like, yeah, and at that point they told us, like, you could have been shot. Like, a report had gone around that kids were flailing a gun around, and I was like, what 15-year-old kid in England is just flailing around a Desert Eagle? Like, it's not like, that's like an Israeli weapon. It's not, we don't fuck around like that. And then at that point, I think that's when like my seeded past came out, because I've been in trouble with the police a few times. And the police were like, what's your name? And I told them, they were like, in front of my friends, they're like, oh, you're known to the police. I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is from when I was like 14 years old. I wasn't a great kid. But yeah, so yeah, no, it's always fun when you get into a little bit of trouble with the police. But they're only there to make sure, to keep the peace. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So
bottom line is, if you're doing any filming with like weapons of any kind, just make sure the police know beforehand.
Yeah.
And generally they're cool with it. They'll even like send a squad car with 2 officers to help you out filming.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
It's true.
Wow.
So you just got to pre-plan beforehand. So as long as they know, they'll send someone, and they'd actually send those 2 cops to like tell like members of the public, no, nothing to see. These.
You don't need like a permit or some shit for
that. Not like that I'm aware of, but I got this.
For sure, I think you do.
I think you might do, but I got this information from a friend of mine that's done it, and another one, another person that verified that was my friend Steve, your ex-housemate.
Oh yeah. Steve Mulvey,
Steve Mulvey, he said no. He also said if I was ever filming, he'd personally show up.
Yeah. Well, he's a cool guy, man. Like he totally gets involved. Like he's always happy to help anybody out if he can do it. But yeah, no. So like I think you're probably attested, because you're one of the few filmmakers I know, and I think that's kind of what led for us to just be sitting down here today, like at this exact moment.
Yeah, you were like, you do films?
Oh no, I'm talking. No, what I mean is, you said to me once, and like I remember this, and you were like, dude, if you want to film something, if you want to make something, dude, you have a camera phone, you can just start filming, do it, just do it, get it done.
Yeah.
And do a quick little recce, and a recce is like when you go to different areas to see what you want to shoot and how you want to shoot it, like a reconnaissance kind of thing. And you're like, just do it, and then fucking film it, and then get it done. And that's kind of why I was like, hey, do you want to do a podcast now? Let's just do it now. Like, let's just fucking get down. This isn't pre-planned. Like, we don't have an agenda or anything. We're just talking, shooting the shit, and that's pretty much it. But and something else that you said to me that I also really remember was people, because you're one of the few people that I know that will actually just film something and do it and get it done. You don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not gonna, a lot of people talk, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, I got loads of irons in the fire, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're just kind of like, I'm not gonna talk about it, I'm just gonna get it done, and then I'll talk about it when it's done. and you get a lot of people that come up to you with a lot of bullshit, really, and they want you to film their stuff, or they want you to
that's
film,
right.
like, music videos for them, and you've told me some like little stories and stuff, and I just remember it, and that's why I think, like, your filmmaking process, I respect it, even though I'm probably a ball leg to work with when we work together.
You've been known, not all the time. Just, I think the worst case was that original little guy. I know you showed up late, and then I don't know whether you were high or whatever, because you were with Nathan.
I would probably was.
Yeah, and you were just like, I just want to see the raid, and then people are waiting for us at the cinema to.
Oh, because we were going to watch the raid 2.
The raid 2, yeah. And I was like, man, what the hell? And then, but the thing is, the cool thing about that was, while you were late, me and Dee were planning everything.
Yeah, you prepared.
So when you guys got there, we more or less just shot everything. Boom, 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 boom. And, you know, it was just like trying to get you guys to stop goofing around a bit, because you guys had the giggles, and even though I was frustrated at the time, I got really mad about that. I'm not even gonna lie. I was so fucked off with you, and then I was just like, you know what? Yeah, a couple of days later, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. It's only Leo. You know what I mean? Just, you know.
What do you mean it's only Leo? So there's this thing that I get from a lot of people, right? And they sort of excuse my behaviour because it's expected, because I have a certain arsolary about myself.
No, but you know what? I know you didn't intentionally mean to, like, piss me off.
No, I'm not gonna ruin the fucking thing.
I know that. But, like, you had me pretty wound up at the time. But I was just like, no, seriously. I was like, this fucking guy, man. And then I can't remember exactly what I said to myself, but I was just like,
I'm gonna kill this fat motherfucker.
I was just like, but you know what? When you look at it, you guys are totally in character.
It's organic.
I know, and you could not recreate that, and it worked.
Yeah.
It really worked, and I think that's what sold it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To a lot of people. And
that's what's kind of what's led. So, I mean, if you guys don't know what the little guy is, I will link it at the bottom. But just to give you give us a quick roundup.
Okay, so he's just basically a little dude, and he just walks into
He walks into situations,
and people either misconceive him or misjudge him, and he just blows it apart.
Yeah, he fucks them up.
So
in that episode that we filmed, he's just some little dude. He's a little guy walking down some steps, coming from work, I guess. He's got a bag, and I play thug number 1, and like generic bad guy number 1, and we go and try to mug him, and then he punches my head off unassumingly. I unassume his size and his me being way big. And Sam, the guy who actually plays the little guy in this series, he's really small.
Yeah, he's very small. Yeah.
You would look at him and you're like, oh wow, you're tiny. And in comparison, I mean, I'm only 5'9".
Yeah.
But to me, he's like, in comparison,
it's like
really
it's
small.
Proper David and Goliath. There, man.
For sure.
Like literally. So I mean, like, you know what? Like I said before, like before we took the tangent, like we did that. We had that 10-second competition. Never really became anything, but that's not the point. I got content out there. You know what I mean? Like, I made something. Rather than cry in a corner, oh, I didn't win. No, cool, I made something. Let's make something else. And something else was the little guy, because I had that as the other thing, and I was like, you know what? This one, I like this one, and it doesn't have to be 10 seconds long now. It can be a minute, 2 minutes. And I think we made it about a minute long.
Yeah.
A minute and a half long. And, we did it. We took our time and we put it out there. And it was, people responded to it. People really responded to it. People liked it. My friend Colin said it's one of the best things I've done. I was like, really? Okay, cool. And then,
because you've been making films for a long time.
Yeah, since I was 14.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of your old stuff.
Yeah, like
when Feeney was doing flips and shit.
Yeah, crazy
in the woods.
stuff. But what happened was I was filming something else, a 20-minute short film, which I haven't. It was a piece of shit.
Okay.
But
I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect
it
that you can turn around
it was
and
a
say
piece
that.
of shit. You know what? I watched Sin City 2, and I was like, and I've always wanted to do crime, like film noir kind of film.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for a feature, which I won't go into, but what do you call it? This was like, I watched Sin City, Dame to Kill. I was like, fuck it, I've got an idea. Let's just do it. And then the more I realised, it was more or less Sin City. You know what I mean? Like the idea. And I filmed like about 20 minutes worth of footage, and
which for those people who don't know is actually really fucking difficult.
Yeah,
like a minute of footage can take like 2-3 hours.
And you got to understand, it wasn't planned. Not all of it was planned out You know what I mean? We had a script, but not all of it was planned out as properly as I would like. There were a few spanners that happened, like the location we locked became unusable.
Okay.
There was a situation, so I had to find another location, so which is a ball late.
Yeah.
Especially when you got actors and stuff. And it was just crazy. And then, all in all, when I re-looked at the footage, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was probably one of the worst things I've ever done. But I learned a lot from doing that. You know what I mean? That was my film school. You know what I mean?
Well, because you didn't actually go to a film school. You went to the film school of life. Like, you just wanted to make your own shit.
I just want to make my own stuff. I mean, like, stuff that I did. I mean, like when I was at school, like film studies was like a brand new thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a brand new thing, and it kind of happened around a certain time in my life, because I was doing, a lot of people don't know this, I was an art and design student. Okay. The only GCSE I had was art. Okay, I don't draw much anymore.
I
but
fucking did art.
I don't draw much anymore. I don't draw anymore. Not as much as when I was a kid. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I used to draw stuff, and people were like, "Wow, you're a good artist." But, you know, in my teens, like you know what? I met my friend D-Lan Sitow. Okay, when we were 13.
D-Lan does a lot of your. So D-Lan does a lot of your effects work.
Yeah, that's right. D does a lot of. Well, that's just it. D's like my partner in crime. I met him.
The man behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's right. D-Lan is the man behind the curtain. If I ever make it, he's the dude.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the dude. Okay. But I met him and a guy called Imran Yusuf. I don't know whether you guys know him, but he's a stand-up comedian. He did a show called Fried. He's
out there, man.
He's out there. He's doing all right. But I met these guys.
Successful.
I met I
got
got
stoned. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
No, fuck it.
Anyway,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, no. Yeah, I met D in a maths class with my mate Simon Marrott.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, me and Simon have been friends since we were
I know Simon.
like younger, and we met this guy called D who's like really shy. He didn't know anyone in the class, so he was like, "Oh, can I sit on your table?" And I was like, "No, you can't." And he was about to go away. I was like, "No, we're joking. Sit down, man. It's all good." And I got to know him, and D's kind of like way of like befriending people. Was like, "Hey, I do films," and he did films off his mum and dad's camera.
Okay.
And they were kung fu films, like very Jackie Chan inspired and stuff, with his friend Imran. And then I was like, "Dude, wow, can I be in one?" And like, he was like, "Yeah, sure." And we just used to film in his backyard, like every single like summer holiday, Christmas, whatever. Like I came late in the game because Imran indeed been refining this art for like a good couple of years now.
Yeah.
But they never really showed anyone, and like
we're talking like Super 8 style, right? Bunch of kids, just video
yeah,
camera.
but we didn't have an 8mm. We had mum and dad's camera. You know what I mean? And that kind of opened my world up, because I always used to look at making of movies, like in the 80s and stuff, before internet and shit. Like every like Saturday there'd be like a new movie would come out in the cinema, and then I think either Channel 4 or
It'd be like a featurette.
There'll be like a featurette, and it would be like the making of Hook or the making of Star Wars. And I was like, what everyone goes on about this Star Wars, and then I saw Star Wars like properly, and I was like, whoa, this is the shit. I always like interested in how they made Star Wars. Hence why I know like a lot of nerdy stuff beyond actually like, you know, the movies and stuff. I know a lot about the making of that trilogy, like, you know, which is now legend and whatnot. But like, you know, that's what got my interest in film. How did they do that? How did they do those special effects? And D-Lan was this guy that was doing it, and like, you know, and he was making kung fu movies, which, you know, is the best fucking movie genre ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like,
Anybody that disagrees, I'll fight you tooth and nail.
yeah,
right?
it's like I don't know, who's your favourite martial artist?
What, ever?
Ever? Like
What, movie-wise?
yeah, movie-wise. Not that he can beat someone up, but movie star-wise.
Fucking Bruce Lee, dude.
Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Okay. For me though, it was Jackie Chan.
I can understand why.
It was always Jackie Chan for me. I respect Bruce Lee. I love all of his films, and he is the best. And he's probably the best fighter too. I mean, look at the dude.
He's the grandfather of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, that's just it. But Jackie, My God, I never seen a guy catch an old school 340 with a fucking umbrella in Police Story. Man. Like the way that guy ran for that bus to catch those criminals. My gosh, man, that's a fucking
that whole
movie.
scene with that bus, like, by the way, the 340, he's referencing a double-decker UK bus.
Yeah.
But that whole scene with the bus, like, breaks, and then the dude falls from the top window.
Yeah,
he's
it's
actually
real.
supposed to land on the car.
Yeah,
but instead he hits the
landed
hard
on
ground.
Yeah, and that was
ouch,
all
man.
real. That guy got fucked up.
He
got fucked up. Yeah, that's just it. But this is just it. Like, I met Dee and I met Imran, and there was this love for Kung Fu cinema. And around the same time, I think Channel 4 was having the Jackie Chan season. So any kid that grew up around them was watching Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
So like. You know, we had this bond. We were all into Kung Fu movies, and more importantly, we were all into Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, when it came to the Sega Nintendo thing, we were all Nintendo fans.
I think it's important
man.
to say that whether you choose to accept this or not, you are a Nintendo fanboy.
Yeah,
Big
I am.
time. Yeah.
I am, man. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
I'm straight up, man. You know what I mean? Like I got to have my Legend of Zelda and my Mario fix. I have to. I've finished every Super Mario game except Sunshine.
That's the GameCube one, right?
I didn't.
You know, I got a GameCube right here. Actually, I need to buy that. It's quite expensive. But
is it?
It's fucking expensitive, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on. So you with Dee and Imran.
Yeah, so like we hooked up. We made these films. We did one called Backwards World, and we did one. There was some guy at school that was bullying D-Land, and like we sliced him into a porno, and then that kind of might have unofficially went round like college and then
yeah. Because unofficially, right? Yeah.
It got Speakmastered. I don't know whether Andrew Speakmaster listens to the podcast, but he's a funny guy.
Okay.
But anyway, he was our leak. He gave it round to people. And,
right.
Yeah,
okay.
We were naughty. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all good. It's a small price to pay for smiting one's enemies.
Yeah, but what else was there? There was loads of Kung Fu films, and basically it always revolved around like some ninjas would be in D-Land's backyard, and we got to fight them.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, as it happened.
And you guys just like so you and Dee would like switch between the filming.
Yeah, but it was mainly D-Land doing the filming. Mm-hmm. Okay, like I started like whenever it was both of them fighting each other, I would grab the camera, but. You know what I mean? It was more Dee than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hadn't made my first thing yet. You know what I mean? I was more just the extra hands with the camera or the Sacha stand there.
How the fuck do you edit something like that?
VHS.
Just
VHS. You put your camcorder to your VHS player and you edit that way.
There's a lot of people out there who don't know what VHS is right now.
Okay.
And there are some people who do, which I hope... that you do. If you don't know what VHS is, then you shouldn't be really listening to this fucking podcast.
No, but
I don't think you're old enough.
I mean, like, you know what? Dee would edit them all. I didn't edit at that point. I just held the camera, like quite literally. And,
sorry, we've got a phone call coming through. Can you pass me that?
Yeah, sure.
It's right there. Apologies to everybody, but I'm going to hang up that phone.
Oh wow.
Good.
So,
no, it's fine.
So
fine.
like Dee would edit.
I tried everything, by the way, to not be interrupted just now, but the landline fucking... Who calls a landline anymore? Who the fuck does that? Go on.
So Dee would edit from the camcorder to the, to his VCR kind of thing and record and slice it that way. And there'd also be scenes where he'd do his version of blue screening where he'd have like a picture or something and stand in front of his...
Okay.
Because he had a huge TV. At the time, he had one of the biggest TVs ever because his dad worked in like a Dixon's or something.
Okay.
So he always had like a big ass TV.
Dixon's? Jesus Christ,
Dixon's.
man.
I know.
Talk about a company that just doesn't exist anymore. It's up there with Woolworths.
Yeah. But, and he'd just do some crazy stuff, man. And like Dee was the man. I just held the camera like for a couple of them, and that was it. And Backwards World, I had an acting debut in that, playing Mr. Pangutta, the Nutter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, does this stuff still exist somewhere?
No. And if you ever get Imran on the show, he'll passionately say, Dee likes to fucking delete stuff. I think there's some stuff that does exist. There's some stuff that isn't, because Imran's actually got a compilation trailer of the stuff that does exist on his YouTube page. So if you check out imranyusuf.com, or if you Google Curry Combat or Curry Fighters, it's one or two, check it out. We got some real 80s beats in there, some Street Fighter 2 sound effects. Because our Kung Fu films would have, we'd get a Super Nintendo, and we'd use the punch like.
A lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know that you could just go into the Super Nintendo
and just go to the sound options.
The sound options, and you could play all the sounds.
And we did that for our Kung Fu moves and stuff.
Fuck it, right?
Because
hoping Capcom don't sue you.
Yeah.
It's like, find those 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
I want all of their money. They broke the copyright laws.
Yeah.
Fuck it. No, that's good, man.
But,
so you started doing that,
and then what happened was, like, I was at like college and stuff, and I was supposed to start at Weald College, but Dylan had the same grades as me, and he was in Weald, and I was on a foundation art course. He was on intermediate, so I jumped ship to Weald, begged, got on, so I was in intermediate. And turned out Imran was in the same class as well. So it was like, cool, fate. And then we just like, what was it? Around that time, I was like, wow, I'm in college for like 3 years. And that was kind of like a bummer because most of my mates were in 2 years.
And then fucked off to
uni and stuff. But the thing was, Dee and Imran were in the same boat as me. So we did the 3 years. But the thing was, they went to uni before me because I hung around an extra year, funnily enough. And it was really good because by that point you meet new people, new friends and stuff. But the reason why I hung around is because there was a film studies course that just opened, and I was doing my GMVQ Advanced, and I decided to take an A-level in film studies.
Okay. Because
it was this new thing, and around that time I was reading Empire magazine and Total Film and stuff, and I was like really learning about like proper films and stuff, and how directors did their first films and stuff. And I was just like, wow, this is really like cool shit and stuff. And around that time I was looking at the website 80 Cool News, which is,
still going
today, not as big as it once was, but you know what, back then that was the site. That was the movie site, before anything that was out there. Harry Knowles knew his shit. That guy single-handedly like took down Batman and Robin, and Warner Brothers were like, fuck, we've made a shit movie. Like, literally.
Well, that film did suck.
Yeah, it did.
You got nipples on the back of it, man. So.
Yeah. So I did this course, and I did it for 2 years, and I really enjoyed it. And I made my actual first film, Simon's Run,
with
Simon Marrett. And I was like, okay, I learned how to edit. There, and it was analog editing. It wasn't digital editing. It was analog editing. It was a bit of a long process, but I got really into it and did my first film. And then after that, when I went to uni doing animation, that's when I learned Adobe Premiere. I was like, what the fuck? I just did something that takes like half an hour in 1 second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blew my mind, man. And if there's anything I could take from my university experience, it was Adobe Premiere.
Okay.
And honing my Photoshop skills. But I didn't finish uni. I dropped out.
Okay.
I dropped out, but I knew I wanted to make a film. You know what I mean? So it was like finding the time to do it and stuff. And at that time, digital film hadn't quite hit, but I was kind of ahead of the curve because I knew I wanted to make a film there and then. So I was like, the whole idea was, let me film a feature. And on my mum and dad's camera, because that's all I have, and then maybe one day I could show it to someone that could point me in the right direction, and then I'll go make a real movie. So that was kind of the plan. But then, I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
So I'd write ideas out and scripts out and stuff, and some were either too big because I was a kid, you know what I mean? I was an 18-year-old with not that many resources that I have now. And then basically, I just started doing my own short films just because I wanted to experiment. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, well, if I do a real film, the whole notion was if I did a real film, okay, it would be an action film or it'd be like, a film. But the whole point of the shorts was build up a portfolio of stuff. So when I do the real film, I'd be like, well, no, trust me, I've done this before because I got all of this stuff to say I've done it. You know what I mean? It's like, so when someone
that's
goes...
the kind of advice you'd probably say to maybe somebody who is an aspiring filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
So build a portfolio.
All my friends thought I was nuts at the time, but I was like, let's do chase with guns and stuff, and like I did that with Simon's Run, and people thought I was crazy at the time. And you know what I mean, people thought I was crazy at the time because they're like, well, how are you going to get to shoot and stuff? And it's like, think about it, when, you know, this is just for my A-level film studies, but when it came to re-editing it and putting the effects in,
yeah,
we could do that then. You know what I mean? So it just became like, let's do these films, let's try out any genre and stuff. And it was all experimental. They weren't supposed to be masterpieces, but I was learning. That was the most important thing. You're learning how to do stuff. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. A lot of it wasn't planned as well. A lot of stuff was made up. But I learned so much doing those stuff with James Feeney, who was my friend that would help me out and stuff. And yeah, I learned a lot. And then I kind of gave up the filmmaking a little bit because I was working at Sega Games for 5.5 years. And I kind of made a choice, I want to be a video games designer. You know what I mean? Like everyone kind of does when they get their first video games job. You're like, only the next Hideo Kojima or Shigeru Miyamoto and stuff. And like you get there and you realise, shit, man, like you got to suck so much dick in this industry. Like the only way to get forward is if you're actually a woman.
Well, no, we've got a friend Adrian Daly. He's
Adrian did well, and Nathan did well also. I've got there's a lot of success stories, but you know that was just my mentality while I was there, because like at the time the structure, there wasn't really a structure, and people were getting in positions that they shouldn't have. You know what I mean? It's
kind of like I've known you for a while, and I would say probably maybe 8 years, 9 years. And I've known you to go like sort of fall in and out of love with filmmaking in between of doing other shit. It's like you'll sort of concentrate on other stuff, but then you'll come back to filmmaking, and that's kind of like your first love.
That's right. I mean, you know, so I did the Sega thing, and you know, I got made redundant. And when I got made redundant, I was like, well, let's try the good and bad thing. I'm back at the cinema because I went back to my job at the cinema, and I was working at the Westfields one at the time. And I was like, well, I've got all this time. I'm kind of disconnected from my friends working at Westfields. Yeah. I'm going to just pull my shit together and make a film. Because around that time, digital cameras were around. Yeah. And I found out that they've shot some episodes of House on a DSLR.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of thing.
I didn't know that.
No, that's why we got DSLRs, you know, in the first place. Because we watched House and it was just like, that was shot on a DSLR? I can't tell. Yeah. You know what I mean? You couldn't tell.
Well, the quality is pretty top notch. I mean, we shot some of the stuff on a Canon 550D.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's like a fucking £1,000 camera.
Yeah.
£2,000 camera.
Well, that was at the time. Now you can pick one up for about 300 quid, maybe even less. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, and we did this Doritos advert. You were there, you were involved, and we shot 2. Dee did one, I did one, and
Ken did one.
No, Ken didn't do one.
Ken not do one?
No, Ken didn't do one.
I was so sure Ken directed one.
No, Ken was in them both, but he didn't direct any.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. But yeah, no. So we shot those adverts, and yeah, it looked better than anything I did in the past, like, ever.
It got up quite high as well.
Yeah, when we entered that competition, and there was like, you know what happened? What drove me to it? I was like, right, I want a film competition, because I had a friend called Chris Kimball, quality guy, also another buddy filmmaker friend of mine. He's actually just done his first feature. Okay. I've forgotten the name of it, but I'll post it to you to put on the...
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely.
But yeah, but I made friends with this guy called Chris Kimball, and he was just like, you know, he was a filmmaker. I looked on his Facebook, and he had like all his links to his films. What I saw was like the production quality and stuff was like really good, and he thought a lot more about, you know, like the production value and stuff, and I was just like, wow, he's really good, and became pretty good friends with him while I was working at Sega. And he was just like, dude, I just enter competitions. I was like, what competitions? He goes, I just go online and I enter competitions, and that's how I built my portfolio. And he looked at my stuff and he was like, oh, that's really cool, I get what you're trying to do. It's like, you should enter some competitions. I'm like, cool. So that's what I did. I saw this Doritos one. The prize was like 28k. I was like, cool.
Fucking 28k.
28k. So, you know, that's up my street. So I made sure if we won, the actors got paid like, sorry guys, £100.
Some actors don't get paid shit, man.
But
so...
I was like, you know, with 28k, the whole idea was they get paid like £100. Me, D, and Joe would split it, and we were going to only take like 2k.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, we were just going to fund all our production stuff, buy proper equipment and stuff. We were going to spend it all on that. That was the plan. Because, like, you know, like, that's what you do. If you win something, you just reinvest it.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Yeah.
That was kind of like the plan. Didn't work out, but we got pretty far. I mean, like, you know what? It had rounds, and they had rounds. So, like, every week, you know, you had to be like, there was, when I looked at the ads, there was like 2,000. No, there was 200 ads. There was 200 ads at the time, and this was like 8 weeks before the deadline. So what happened was, I looked at about 200 short films, like one night, like literally 30-second Doritos ads, and they were bollocks. They were actually bollocks. And I had, you know, my confident hat came on. I was like, I could film about one. I don't know what yet, but I know I could film one and make it look the shit. So I had a meeting with D and Joe. I was like, guys, let's do this. Let's do this. This is my idea. This is what we should do. We should do a Doritos ad. And then I was like, we've got 8 weeks. So this week, all 3 of us are going to think of ideas. By next week, we should lock what the idea is. And then the following week, we're going to cast it. And that's kind of how it did. And I think we shot it in the 3rd week. And then it was edited, 2 weeks after that, like everything was, and then we released it. Okay. And we still had like about a month or so to go. There was like 1,000 ads, and we put it in, and for a glimmer of like 2 days, our one was the best shit that was out there. Okay. Before the deadline, it was the best shit that were out there, and we were like, I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna win this. And then 2 days later, all the other good ones started coming out close to the deadlines. All the guys that like were doing the proper shit were coming out, and then I just started shitting myself a little bit. I was like, no, you know what, I made something. But then once the entry was done, there was like 2,700 adverts or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there were a lot better ads than us, and I was like, yeah.
You're gonna. There's always going to be somebody better.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they were like, okay, we got like the top 100. So it was like, cool. We'll see how we do. Top 100, we got 40. What's it? Yeah, we made the top 100. We were 42nd place.
Okay.
In the top 100, and then they did
for
the
a few
top.
thousand. That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah. No, I could be wrong. No, we were in the 80s at that point.
Okay.
But then, for the top 50 we made 42, and then for the top 20 we made 22, so we came out, but we were going up a bit, but we didn't make the top 20, and then there's the top 10 and stuff. But that's still not bad out of 100 ads and about 50 ads.
Be honest, Dan. Yeah. I made that, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, Dan. Let me tell you about that though. You did that as like an outtake, yeah.
So, I know. Yeah. You told me how you guys split the screen.
Yeah, that's right. Editing. Because I turned around. The only reason why that got in is because I'm a Star Wars nerd. I watched all the making of, and like basically on episode 1, you found out that George Lucas, like, you know, he'd look at the performances of some actors, and then he might like something from another take, and with After Effects, you can actually split, as long as the lighting is right and it's a still camera angle, you can take stuff from the left side and put it, and he'd do that throughout the prequels, which might explain a lot about like why they are the way they are in some places. But on this,
we won't go into that. I know how much you hate them.
On this instance, though, this was comedy, and you couldn't recreate what you did. You know what I mean? And the other thing was, like in the outtake, everyone's reacting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the whole idea was like, I was like, because you were on one side and everyone else wasn't with you, it was just kind of like, D, we can do this. And D was like, I don't know. I think D was actually just being lazy, because it was like, no, seriously, that's going to sell it. Yeah. I told him then, I was like, that is going to sell it. You know why? Because everyone's laughing already at Dirk with his like Mr. Bean thing. Okay. But we will kill it with Leo. You know what I mean? Because it was unscripted, you couldn't replicate that. So, you know what?
Do you know what? Do you know, like, that's that? So in the scene, at the end of it, I slap my face because I think somebody said, I can't remember who it was, but it said, "We need you to act shocked." The camera was rolling, so I just went like this, and I just went slapped myself in the cheek, and dude, that fucking hurt.
Yeah, it was an actual slap.
I didn't know how hard I was gonna hit myself there and then, but it fucking hurt. I remember just going like power throughing because, like, you know, girls were in the room. But yeah, it fucking hurt, and so I'm glad my pain fueled your comedy.
No, it worked, man. It fucking worked, man.
So just so I'm going to sort of tangent off it, because how many people do you get like? I think you told me this once, and it was sort of an unbelievable. Like, some people come to you with some bullshit.
Yeah.
As in, because obviously, like, whilst you are, like I said, you know, you just make films. You do what you want to do.
I'm just a normal dude, man. I make short films in my spare time, but I actually do it.
But you actually do it, and you do it quite well. I mean, some of the stuff you've done, it's got pretty decent graphics in there. Yeah. Like, pretty decent FX shots, filmed quite well. When you look at, so then you get a lot of people, like, I would say wastemans, that come up to you and they're like, "Hey man, I got this script," and you told me about one. To be honest with you, I'm not going to edit this out because I don't give a fuck who this dude is. I'm going to say it out loud.
Oh wow!
This guy, whoever he was, that approached you with a vampire story, HIV or some shit.
Yeah.
And he wanted you to film it or direct it or some shit. And you told me, like, basically, you get a lot of dickheads coming up to you saying, "Hey man, I got this great film idea," and they try to come to you to get you to make it. Is that right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, I do get a lot of people like asking me to do stuff for them for free, or like, you know what I mean?
How fucking insulting is that when someone's like, "Hey man, do this for free because reasons, because I can't be asked to
pay you. You've got the skills." It's like one of my managers at work did that. He wouldn't give me the time off to go make my films in the first place, but you know, he was leaving the company and he has like a little warehouse kind of, you know, where you buy furniture and sell it to stores and stuff. He's got one of those kind of things going down, and he had a rival company, and they had this little ad on their website, and the thing was all done in After Effects. Okay. I don't do After Effects. You know what I mean? D-Land does After Effects, and my good friend Joe Buchanan does After Effects.
Who's with you on Zedos Gang?
Who's with me on Zedos Gang. And Joe's very competent. If it's not Joe, it's D, or both of them together. Right. You know what I mean? We're the team on my short films. We're the free
Just
guys.
Just tell me who's the one that likes to steal work from other people, steal ideas. Who's that?
Huh?
Which one out of you three is it that likes to steal people's ideas?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. Little guy. Foot shift.
Huh?
The foot shift on the little guy.
Hey.
All of a sudden,
I actually think that's a coincidence. I'm not even gonna lie, but like we'll discuss that with D-Land.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck D. I'm coming after you, bro. I'm coming after you, man. You stole my fucking idea, but it's cool. You did it really well. It looked very good.
But yeah, no. Hey, what are we talking about?
We're talking about people. Your manager wanted you to film some shit.
So he wanted some After Effects thing, and the whole thing was After Effects. So I'm not actually directing anything. It's literally an animation. I turned around to him. I said, "I can't do that." He goes, "Oh, but you've done it for all your other stuff." I was like, "That's because I get a guy that has those skills to do that." He goes, "Oh, well, can you get your friend for me?" Now, Joe gets paid to do this for a living. Alright.
And let's be clear, Joe's quite proficient at this.
Yeah, so Joe's very proficient at this. And the thing is, Joe does it for free as a favour to me because we're friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, really good friends. For anyone else, Joe would pay. Joe would...
It's charging you time, man.
Yeah. Charge. If I was getting paid to do something, I would have to cover Joe's costs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because now it's a case of I'm getting paid and...
Joe's still doing it for free.
Yeah. No.
It's respect.
It's respect.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting paid, Joe also has to get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. So I turned around to my manager. I was like, "That's going to cost you about what's that, £300,
Yeah.
which is 2 days' work of Joe's time, and that's not me even getting paid.
That's like $150 a day, Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's kind of standard.
Yeah.
That's kind of standard, and he was like,
And for somebody of his caliber,
yeah,
it's quite cheap.
yeah,
It's not, that's like a mate's rates.
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
exactly.
I'll make for a friend, do me a favor, because I would, like,
yeah,
Joe is, I know from what I've heard and from what I've seen, I know Joe is a lot better than people give him credit for, but he should be way more successful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
than certain people deserve to give him credit for. He's very, very good at what he does. And so when somebody's like $150 a day for somebody of that caliber, is very, and he's worked on respectable projects as well. I mean, he still does even now.
Yeah.
So
that's just it. And this guy, I just turned around to my manager. I was like, "Well, that's the rate. Take it or leave it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look, I could have easily said 700 and got paid myself.
Was he being a bitch?
He was. He was. I was like, well, I turned around to him. I said, "Well, you don't give me the time off to do this stuff anyway. So this is is actually an imaginary conversation." You know what I mean? But now I do get the time off to do the stuff, and stuff is being done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just goes to show that he could have made that happen for me a long time ago, but he chose not to, for whatever reason.
Some people just like to stand in front of your fucking success, man. Like, or they just see, like, the problem is that, when you're around people, I think I'll quote like Kevin Smith as, you live a why not life, because everyone's gonna go, why are you doing that? Why do you need to do this? Why? It's like, well, fuck you, man. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and like, just live a why not life. I'm gonna say, hey, why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why do you have to stand in my fucking way? And that's the problem. Obviously, you have some, like, it's convenient for him to do you a favor because you're doing him a favor. But if you're just asking for a favor as he's not getting, it's like we said in the car. If you're not getting something for in return, then people are less likely to do something for you.
Exactly.
And that's bullshit. And you need to just be like, I need to not be around you. You're a fucking asshole. Because like those people are only going to stand in the way of your fucking success, man. So basically, you got that guy, and then I just know that you get a lot of like fucking people coming up to you and asking you to do certain shit. You told me, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, nor would I remember it because the guy sounds like a dickhead anyway. But the fucking dude who is in fucking Britain's Got Talent or some shit.
Oh, dude, man, he's an alright guy.
Yeah, but the story you told me, man, like, left a fuck. I'm not gonna go into it, but this dude, it left a bad taste in my mouth. It talk about people that like, from what I gather, from my own, I guess my own preconception of what I heard in that story, from what I gather, people, thinking of more than what they actually are.
No, you know what? I don't know. I wouldn't actually put him in that category, man. I wouldn't put him with those bad eggs. I mean, he's a guy who knows exactly what he's doing. He's successful in his own right. And what he wanted, it's still in the pipeline. It'll still happen. It's not I'm not cutting him off.
Maybe it's just me. I don't like people just like I just like I'm loyal, so if you're
I understand.
Somebody,
You as my
like,
friend might feel that he's taking the piss to a degree. That's fine, but like, no, he's actually a really cool guy. That, you know what I mean? He might have perceptions that might not be realistic to certain degrees, but he's not a filmmaker. Do you know what I mean? And you got to give a concession to people like that. You know what I mean? Because as a filmmaker, you've got to deal with people like that all the time. And
fuck, you have to deal with me. I'm an asshole, man.
But and
that's true to this day. Ask my girlfriend.
You've got to give him a concession. You know what I mean? I don't think he's the worst person. You know what I mean? And he didn't rub me off the wrong way, kind of thing. Not at all. I'm doing a video for him. It's like, I don't want to cut him off. I don't, because there's no animosity there. It's just, he might have dealt with the situation maybe a little bit not how I would have dealt with, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
So, talk to me a little bit more about. So, again, just fucking having you on, I've got like a billion questions to ask you. I am conscious of the time, so what is your brother? You and your brother, you fucking collect video games like a motherfucker.
Yeah, we
fucking been around your house, and like, so you just came around my place just now, and you've seen the setup, and you're like, oh, okay, wow, okay, you got all these consoles hooked up, and like I've got everything hooked up on my TV. I'm a bit of a game geek, but you're a bit of a fucking gamer like a motherfucker as well, right?
Yeah.
You and your brother. I played Street Fighter against your brother online, and I kicked the shit out of him on Street Fighter 5 the first round. I thought, yeah, this is good. And then, and then shit happened, and I got the fuck kicked out of me.
Yeah, you realise it weren't me.
Yeah, yeah. I think, well, you told me. You said, oh, my brother wants to play, and I thought, yeah, fuck, I'll play against your brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you worked at Sega for a little while, right?
Yeah, that's right. 5.5 years.
A little while, half a decade, and then you got hit by a car.
Yeah, I got hit by a car while I was working there. Yeah.
You were going to go get a chicken sandwich.
Oh man, I didn't know we were bringing this up.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up, dude. I'm bringing it up. You went to.
No,
from what I heard, someone told me, like, oh, did you hear Sacha got hit by a car?
It was a chicken drumstick.
Okay.
It's a chicken drumstick. I love that shit. Well, I used to love that shit. Yeah.
Fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Did you get any watermelon with it, or just straight chicken?
No. Just had the chicken. The chicken. You should have got Ken on here if you wanted to hear more of that story.
I want to hear all the stories.
Yeah, speak to Ken, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up, man. He probably knows more about it. Yeah. So what are you playing at the moment?
Metal Gear Solid 5.
You're talking about some Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear
Survivor? What the fuck is that?
Fuck that game, man.
What is that?
I don't know, some zombie shit. I don't know. The Konami are making a spin-off game about zombies or something. I haven't really looked into it completely because I thought the whole thing was fucking absurd. Absurd, yeah. Just like, what are they doing?
So what are you playing at the moment?
Yeah, just Metal Gear 5.
Just Metal Gear 5. I couldn't get into it, man.
No?
I fucking... Do you know what it is? I love Metal Gear 1, 2, 3, 4 on the PS3.
You like 4?
I was a little bit back and go with it. But the new one, Ground Zeroes, I first played, that came out for free on PlayStation Network. And I thought it was dog shit, man.
What?
It left such a bad taste in my mouth that when people were like, hey, number 5 is basically this but longer, I was like, I don't want to play it. Maybe it's just me, like, I still love the first one, because the first one to me is like a movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not talking like the first on the NES, I'm talking,
You're talking about the Metal Gear Solid
on the PlayStation.
Yeah, the one that restarted it all, to be quite honest.
And then they remade it, right?
On the
GameCube, and that game to this day is like £80.
Yeah.
Like, and I have the money to buy it, and I keep thinking I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it, and then I don't, and I don't know why, because it's a fucking poor choice of mine.
Oh man,
I'm gonna get it. I should get it because I love this fucking game. Because the only way you could improve the first one is just making the graphics better, and a few little tweaks here and there, and they did it. And then it's like such a great, and it breaks the fourth wall so many times. It's such a good fucking game, man. But I know he's because he was titled to do.
Did you not buy it off of D?
What, Twin Snakes?
Yeah.
No.
Who bought it off of D?
It wasn't me, because D
was selling it for 25.
Yeah, D was selling it with he was selling his GameCube, and he was selling it. It was a foreign GameCube. It was an American one.
Oh yeah, so he had a foreign copy.
He had a foreign copy. Yeah,
okay,
so you would need a Game Shark disc or a game. No,
it's
you wouldn't.
Still cheaper than you spending 80 quid.
Well, I mean, you can buy it. I mean, I've bid on it a few times, and I get to about £40, and then I go, nah, I'm not going to keep bidding. When you've got like 25 people bidding for it, but I periodically do check to see if there's one on like a buy it now £30.
Yeah.
Then I'll totally buy it. But yeah, because Hideo Kojima, if you guys don't know, he's one of the greatest, basically, directors of games going.
Outside of Metal Gear, I totally recommend Snatcher. Great game if you're into your RPGs, like point and click RPGs.
Okay.
Fantastic game on the Sega Mega CD or Sega CD, depending if you're in America and stuff. And not only do you use the joypad to play it, but you also use the light gun.
Okay. Right.
It's not like shoot 'em up.
You need to have like a CRT, right? You can't use that on a modern day television, like light guns.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. So the way like CRTs work is that if you have like Duck Hunt, you can't play Duck Hunt.
I can't play Duck Hunt
on a flat screen. No.
Oh man, you just broke my heart there.
Yeah,
I haven't actually tried to play
No,
Dark
you
Heart.
can't do it.
Do you know what pisses me off though? I've actually got the Super Scope. You know the Super Scope?
Yeah, the bazooka.
The Super Nintendo with the 6 games.
Yeah, you can't.
Mole Patrol.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can't
play.
do it.
You're telling me I can't play.
You can't do it, man.
Fuck that.
You
man.
need this. That's why you see like a lot of old school collectors still have a CRT.
Yeah.
Because like a rear projection TV, so they can play those specific light gun games.
Yeah.
So like I have a Retron 5.
Yeah.
Retron 5 plays like loads of the cartridge games, like loads it on, and you can play it in HD. If you have that's got no connectors for the scope or anything else like that for the light gun,
Yeah.
so you can't actually play the games. So you can't play them on your HD TV. So there are certain games that won't work.
Yeah.
Which is why again, like, you know, if you're a true collector, real collector, then you actually really will play that game.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you're gonna fucking need a big old TV somewhere in the corner so you can just play that one game. And it just like, oh, is it worth it? Not really.
Yeah.
But there you go. I mean, at the moment for me, I've started collecting Game Boy games,
Oh yeah.
like Game Boy Advance games. And that's been like my thing recently. It's just playing as many of those as I can. It's fucking really good games out there, man. Like,
Yeah.
the problem is there's a lot of hidden gem videos on YouTube that seem to drive up the price.
Have you got Final Fight?
Final Fight, what, for the GameCube?
No,
for the Game Boy?
Game Boy.
Yeah, Final Fight 1.
Yeah.
I got Final Fight 1. I got I actually have it. I have 2 copies of it. I have a physical copy,
Yeah.
and I have a ROM copy on my
Final Fight is actually one of my favourite games.
That's a
of all
badass
time.
game, man.
I love that game.
Do you know I did?
Do you know how much I like it? I actually wrote a screenplay.
Did you?
Yeah, Final Fight. How
The
I'd actually
storyline
do.
is there.
Yeah, look. Here's the thing.
Does it
video
not fucking annoy you when people make storyline video games? Like
Yeah.
they write screenplay to a movie, like for a game that already fucking exists. Like storyline is there. Why are you deviating?
Do you know what it is? I just think like the guys in Hollywood that are making the video game adaptations, they haven't even played the game. It's like comic book movies. It's taken till now for Marvel to come in and get shit
Figure
right.
out.
And even outside the Marvel films, you've got like certain ones where the filmmakers get it right because they were in love with the material.
Yeah.
Video gamers, there's not that many video gamers that make movies.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So we haven't got that.
But when they do, you get Wing Commander and it blows.
Yeah, that was
With Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, that was
And
directed by the creator as well.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
so, but the thing is,
So-
like, you know, what was the other one? The Spirit.
Yeah.
So Frank Miller wrote The Spirit, then he directed The
No,
Spirit.
no, he didn't. He didn't write the Spirit.
He did.
No, he was a fan of the Spirit.
No, he
It
wrote it.
was
Dude.
Will Eisner, I do believe.
Oh,
that
hold on.
created the Spirit.
We're just
So
gonna
Will
fact check this.
Eisner? I'm not too sure. I know Frank Miller was a big fan because the Spirit inspired, like, his visual look for stuff like Sin City.
Right.
Hence why he kept the Sin City aesthetic for the movie.
I was so sure that he wrote it. So
No, I'm pretty confident he was a fan.
yeah, you know, you may be right. You may be
Yeah.
right. Hold on, you may be right. Yeah, you were right. I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Was it Will Eisner?
Yeah, it was Will Eisner. Yeah. Will Eisner created it,
Yep.
and
There's a
yeah.
comic of the 40s, right? Or 50s?
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
And yeah, but so they took somebody who basically like loved the fucking movie, and then like loved the comic books, and then went and did it, and then fucked it all up.
Yeah.
That film was horrible. I watched that, and I really like Gabriel Macht in that because he's in Suits. He plays Harvey Specter.
Yeah.
And I was super upset that he fucked this whole film up. Like, the whole thing was dog shit. But that's what happened. I guess if you get people that are really into it or creators into it, they fuck it up. But I mean, like, I watched the thing the other day on YouTube about Mortal Kombat and how that's probably one of the truest
Yeah.
video game adaptation into a movie in like from the 90s.
That's a simple premise.
Yeah.
You got to understand, games
It's
now.
fucking- it's-
games now are built for an experience. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, and you can go hours in a game.
Yeah.
Compared to like streamlining
hours.
it for 2 hours. So, I always felt if you were to do a video game movie, make sure it's an older game.
Yeah.
Make sure it's an older game, and also maybe even take like film doesn't have to be live action. It could be cartoon. It could be like, for example, if I was hired to do a Super Mario movie, you know how I do a Super Mario movie?
Not like they did last one.
Yeah,
not with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
I'd actually go, yeah, I'm up for that challenge. How I'd do it is I'd hire 2 of the best writers from Disney Pixar, okay, in the business, and do it like a Pixar film, like literally CGI, get the original voice as Mario, get someone else as Luigi.
That dude's still fucking alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Really?
Yeah, he was Batman in Arkham Knight.
What?
Not Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, because they didn't use Kevin Conroy.
They did. That game was good. A lot of people hate that game.
What, Origins?
It was okay. I liked it. It was alright.
It was okay. It was okay.
It was good. So go on. How would you make Mario?
Yeah, I'd make it CGI.
Yeah?
Like, make it like a CGI thing. I'd literally have it about 2 brothers. The conflict would be that Mario's the older one, but he's a fuck-up brother.
Okay.
Like, literally, he's a fuck-up brother. Luigi's kind of like the brains, because he's at uni or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're Italian. I'd probably make...
You mean Italian-American or Italian?
I'd make Mario Italian. I'd have Luigi, because he's a younger brother, be maybe more Italian-American kind of thing. You know? Kind of thing. There's some conflict there, because they're both kind of like... You know what I mean? Mario's kind of
Joe,
like...
but I'm not going to lie to you, man. You're not selling me. Right
I know I'm not selling you, but I'm not thinking the characters. I'm thinking the characters building it up as the characters. But literally, who
does Bowser?
Huh?
Who's Bowser?
I don't know who Bowser is, but...
Can we like do a little nod?
Do you want to do Bowser?
No, no, I won't do Bowser. Can we do a little nod to Bowser and get the guy who played Bowser?
What, from...
the original?
What if... Well, he's dead.
Is he dead?
Dennis Hopper is dead.
Fuck off, Dennis Hopper's dead. How the fuck did I not know this?
He died.
How'd he die? Probably like in a blaze of glory,
I
right?
think it was cancer.
Oh,
but there was
so
a big thing.
But
there was a big thing where he was like trying to fight his wife from not giving her anything from the will, because he wanted to leave it all to his children or something. There was like some big deal. I don't know how that went down, but
that's a dick move.
Yeah,
that's a dick move. That on the wife side.
Yeah,
but he'd be like, just fucking leech. She just wants all of his money. She's like, I'm not going to give nothing to the kids. I want it all. And for sure, like, he married, like, maybe, was she his second wife? Like, she knew.
I really don't know the ins and outs, but I was like, you know when you read something and you're like, wow, that's kind of deep. But, like, no, he was, he died, man. But, you know what? I mean, I don't know, man. You got to have conflict between the characters, you know, at some point. I kind of figure you build them up as 3-dimensional characters, kind of thing. You have, like... The first like 20 minutes have him in Brooklyn and stuff. He used to be a carpenter, not at Donkey Kong. He's now a plumber. Right. You know what I mean? He takes Luigi to like help him out on a job kind of thing, and boo, they go down the drain. They're in the Mushroom Kingdom. What the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
How weird.
Link up with Toad.
Get them on some DMT ayahuasca.
Yeah, totally, man.
Get them fucking have a
throw in jokes galore. You know what I mean?
So did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to be Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat film?
You know what? That sounds awesome, but it sounds bad at the same time.
He was supposed to do that because you know he played.
Yeah.
So Mortal Kombat was originally supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game.
Oh, okay.
And Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to play Johnny Cage in the game.
Wow.
And then they did, because I'm a big Van Damme fan, as you know, hence Van Dammage, with 2 M's. So you got, so he was supposed to play Johnny Cage, and then they wanted him to play Johnny Cage in the movie. And he was like, no, I'm going to go do Street Fighter, fuck you. I'm going to play an American colonel when I'm Belgian. So like he was like, yeah, fuck it. But the thing is, the way he became Guile in Street Fighter was actually like a census poll that they did.
Okay.
Where they asked like basically at that time like Van Damme was like the biggest, one of the biggest stars on the planet. So everyone was like they like so Capcom and Nintendo were like, we're gonna make this fucking movie. Artisan, I think, was the people that did it. They were like, who would you pick? And a lot of people were like, we want Van Damme. Because don't ever trust the public to make a choice. No. Remember, these are the same people that voted Mr. Blobby as #1.
And no one thought of Kurt Russell.
They should have.
Why didn't they get Kurt Russell?
Fuck Kurt Russell. If you're gonna pick Colonel Gar, man, you pick Dolph Lundgren.
Another good choice.
He's got the buzz cut. Like, it's there. Like, that's it. That's the dude. So they picked him.
I'm still going with Russell. I'm thinking Stargate, Kurt Russell.
I'm with you on that too.
Yeah.
I like Kurt Russell, but they picked Van Damme. I still to this day love that fucking movie. I will watch that film now and be like, you know, this film's so bad. It's good. It's trash.
Yeah.
But it's not even a guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure.
Yeah.
Because you got Raul. Like, there's loads of backstory behind that. Because apparently they were like, so Van Damme fucked Kylie Minogue, and like he was like high on cocaine the entire time of that film. And then Raul Julia was like slowly dying. Like that was his last film. So he was like, Raul Julia was slowly dying throughout the course of that movie.
Wow.
And eventually, like, what came out, the poor director, that was his like debut film.
Yeah.
And basically they just like, because you got like all these huge stars in this movie, and then you throw Kylie Minogue into the mix, and they were just like, yeah, so basically you're just here for show, like you're just here because we need a director to sit here while the actors do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. And that's but I mean, at that time I still stand by, like, I love Mortal Kombat. I love the Street Fighter film. I hate the second Mortal Kombat film.
Remember the Street Fighter game of the film?
Dude, I got it.
That's like Mortal Kombat.
Dude,
you own it.
I own it.
Oh my god.
Do you know how expensive that? I'll show you when we're off here. But do you know how expensive that fucking game is? If you go on eBay and try to find it for the PlayStation 1, the Street Fighter the movie, the game, is like $100.
Wow.
Right? Because it's so rare, because it was out on the Sega Saturn as well. But it's so
$100.
Yeah, it's like $80 to $100 boxed.
Wow.
I found somebody that was selling just the disc for £14 for the PlayStation 1. That works in the UK. It's super rare. So I was like, yeah, I'm on that. I bought it. So I own that game now. I'll probably never ever play it because I've seen what it looks like already, but it exists and I have it in my collection. I'm probably going to buy the box and shit separate and build it from there because it'll be cheaper. But if you find an original box copy in the wild, for a PlayStation 1, that's like an easy £80 to £100 purchase. Wow. Again, there are some games out there, like I collect games much like you do, but I think maybe my finger's a bit more on the pulse at the moment.
Yeah. There
are some games out there where are actually dog shit, but because they're rare, or maybe there was like a misprint on the sleeve of the game or the box, they're super expensive. Like Nintendo have one. The original NES has Nintendo Sports. I think it's Nintendo Sports. That game, on its own, because it was re-released on a dual pack, and that's not expensive at all, but the game on its own had to be recalled, so there's only a few out in the wild now, and they're about £4,000 to £8,000 in, depending on quality, on how expensive they are. And you're talking a game that probably at the time when it came out was about $20.
Yeah.
And now you're talking like thousands and thousands of pounds. So I mean, if you're into gaming, like, again, for me, I know there are some games to the GameCube, some games to the Xbox, which if you want to own the physical copy, you're fucking, and your brother will probably chime in on this.
Yeah.
And he'll say, there are some games out there that are really, really expensive. Like that F-Zero game I was talking to you about for the Game Boy.
Oh yeah.
That's out in Japan only. If you want to buy that, because there's no region lock on the GBA. If you want to buy that from Japan, you're looking at like somewhere in the region of £160.
Wow.
And it's only sold in Japan. So you're gonna have to Caesar Palace that shit, and get a ROM hack and then do it that way. And that's how I've got it, and that's the only way I've played it, because I can't physically buy it because there's like 2 copies on eBay and they're just way too expensive for me to buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yeah, but I got to check out your collection. I want to sit down and have a proper look because I've seen what you've got, like at glance, and I think we should need to sort out a day where we can sit down and do this and just fucking have a proper gaming day, man. But get your brother involved. You can kick the shit out of me on Street Fighter. But look, I know we got to wrap this up because I know you got work in a little bit. So we're gonna drive down there and then do that shit. But thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
That's cool, man. Anytime.
Yeah, it was a good time, and yeah. So where can people find you, man?
You can find me at Sashman3 on Twitter.
Yeah.
And check my short films on Sacha Allari up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll whack it down on the
or check out the Sashland Productions website. That'll have my YouTube, my Twitter, my YouTube and my Vimeo account.
Vimeo.
So
You got so many ways of people getting hold of you now.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Vimeo,
it's a shame for a guy who doesn't fucking answer his phone all the time, you know, when you call him.
My phone's always on silent.
Yeah.
It's like out of habit. You know what? I used to be the guy where I'd have my phone on, have the annoying ringtone or ringtone for different people, but then I just got into a habit at work of just like keeping it on silent, and then I'll check the phone every 5 minutes.
Dude, so you know Matty?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm just gonna digress on here. Matty is like my best friend. I've known him since I was like 12. Right. He doesn't really talk. He's quite a recluse, just because that's the person he is, and he doesn't talk to a lot of people on the phone. So he's had mobile phones in the past, and he breaks them a lot because he doesn't care. He just breaks everything electrical around him. He seems to just destroy. That's why when he comes here, he's not allowed to touch any of my stuff because it just seems to break in his presence. And every time I used to call him on his mobile phone, or his cell phone, or whatever you want to call it, I used to call him and he never answered it. And so I would say to him, what's the fucking point of having a mobile phone when you're mobile and you don't fucking answer him and you're out in the wild? And he's like, well, and if I'm with him, he'll go, but there's only 2 people that call me, like you and like my family, and both of you are here, so I don't need to answer my phone. And I was like, I get that, but you know, so I got so frustrated not being able to communicate with him, and because he broke his phone again, that I actually just went to Asda and bought him. Do you know how easy it is to become a drug dealer? I went to Asda and bought him a phone for £6. Right, color screen phone. I said, I've had enough of this shit. I walked into Asda, bought a phone for £6 fucking pounds, right? With a SIM card from EE. And I was like, here's your phone, charge it, keep it on you, dude, because if there's an emergency or some shit goes down, I want to be able to get a hold of you because like you're my best mate and shit like that. You know, just generally want to be able to get a hold of you if you're out and about. Because we had a situation where we were going to go watch a movie and he went one way and I went the other, and I waited for him there and I couldn't call him. You know why? Because his phone doesn't work. So I'm trying to call this cunt, say, hey dude, where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be following me and you actually sped off ahead and went some different direction. I'm now going into the cinema and you're not answering your fucking phone. And I couldn't get a hold of him. So after that day I was like, this is the reason why you need a mobile phone, dude, because I need to be able to get a hold of you so when you get lost. So but yeah, side note, yeah, I went and bought my friend a fucking phone. I was so shocked. I walked in there and I said, I want the cheapest phone in the world. I want the phone that just sends text messages and makes phone calls. That's it. It's all it needs to do. Nothing fancy. They were like, yeah, okay. And she just looked at me. She was like, is that all you want? I went, uh-huh. And she went, that'll be £6. And I went, what? It was like 6 whole British pounds for a phone with a SIM card. And I'm thinking, how easy is it to become a drug dealer? It's just to burn a phone. You just use it, throw it away. Use it once for a drug deal, throw it away. It's £6, man, whatever. But yeah, so cool. We'll find you on Vimeo. We'll find you on YouTube. We'll see you on Zedos Gang.
Yeah.
And on French Talk Film. And hopefully back on here. And yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
No worries, no worries. Guys, if you want to find me, you find me on here. You'll find me on Friends Talk Film. Eventually, one day, Joe, maybe I might get on Zedos Gang. Who knows? Fucking cunt. But apart from that, yeah, Friends Talk Film, Kenan's podcast is really good. I definitely recommend it. You'll see me and Sash and other people arguing about movies and talking shit. And yeah, that's it pretty much, man. Thanks a lot, guys, and that's it. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Leo here from What's the Damage podcast. If you like this week's episode, feel free to like, share, and subscribe and do all that fucking shit. And hopefully we can get this worldwide. Thanks a lot. Peace.